Hello class, this is a guitar techniques video to help you get ready for and be clear about midterm tests and requirements. So some of you, those of you that have been showing up to class pretty regularly are probably pretty clear on this stuff, and you may only need to watch the very first part of the video and then the rest will be stuff that you already know. Those of you that haven't had very good attendance should watch the whole video to make sure that you have the best chance to have caught up. There is a chance I will be giving grades on Tuesday, so at that point you'll know what your midterm grade is, and you can decide then what your best course of action is if you've been missing a lot of classes. Okay, so just a quick reminder, tomorrow, Monday, July 14th, we will have your midterm song is due. Maybe you've already got something ready. If not, you need to get something ready by then. And there's no acceptance of late projects, so it's just tomorrow or nothing at all. So you need a verse, a chorus, and both need to have a melody, and at least one section has to use materials from the class, chord voicings, or material generated by an assignment. And you must be able to play your guitar part on the guitar. Even if you can't sing it at the same time, then you can take a break and sing it along with the recording or do something like that if you can't play both at the same time, but you do have to be able to play your guitar part. Okay, so all of those things are required in order for the project to have a grade issued. Otherwise, there's no credit for that. The only flexibility is that it has to have two song sections. If both sections are not a verse and a chorus, if there's something like a verse and a refrain or a verse and a bridge or something like that, that's okay. They just have to be two separate sections. Okay, the midterm test, it has some activities that you're required to do in class that show that you've been checking out our shapes, which are after all are the basic, kind of like GPS device that we're going to use to help us navigate around the neck. So we really need to know these. So you really need to have memorized all 9. You can use the names that we've given them, or you can use their inversion names. These are all second inversion here, second inversion, root position, and first inversion. Okay, those are our names. I posted them on the website. I've given them out to you. Okay, so what do you have to do with them? Well, you have to be able to play 1-4-5 starting with any of these shapes, and you'll get a higher grade if you do that voice-led. There's many different ways to play 1-4-5. I can't possibly review them all now. They've all been covered in previous classes. But there are videos about how to do voice-led 1-4-5s. Let me show you where they are. They are on OL. You go to OL. They are under, most of them are under class 4. They're kind of repeated in different places for the same videos. There's one of them. 1-4-5 neighborhood voicings. Those are what voice-led, that's what we call them in this class. Neighborhood voicings, because they're all in the same neighborhood. And this is another version of that same video with some, I think, some more detail in it. So there's 2 videos there that describe that. Okay, so for the test, I'm going to say, okay, starting on such and such, this, say tic-tac-toe, I want you to do 1-4-5. And if you've been practicing, you would be able to go. If you can see my hand. You'll notice I ended up using all 3 shapes. That's one of the things that happens when you do voice-led triads, is you end up using all 3 shapes. If this is the 1, that becomes the shape of the 4, and this becomes the shape of the 5. Okay, so that's all covered in those videos. So level 1 of that skill is to do it only on the top set of strings, the thinnest set. That is the D set, D string. What we call the D chorus, because it starts with this shape that's like a D chord. So you should all. Some of you have been assigned more than 1 level, but anybody who wasn't in class and didn't get assigned a level should at least be able to do this level, and then I may assign you more to be due soon after that. So that means I might say to you, okay, that's your 1 chord, make it a 1-4-5, and you would be able to do it because you would have been practicing and watched the video. And then I'd say, this is the 1 chord, now 1-4-5. Now this is the 1 chord, 1-4-5. Okay, that's that requirement. The other requirement is to play the diatonic triads ascending on the neck, and you can start with any of these chords. You can start with D shape, A, or E. We went over this last class. I don't think there is a video on this, but I will quickly remind or show those who weren't there what I mean. What I mean is that we stay starting with a D chord. That's a major chord. But in diatonic harmony, the second chord of a key is not major. So if I move it to here, it's no longer a diatonic 2 chord. It's a 2 major, but we want a 2 minor. So we find where the third is, and we turn it into a minor chord. And now we have a 2 minor in the key of D. D major, E minor. Then we move up, F sharp minor, G major, A major, 6 minor in this key, B minor, and then 7 diminished. How do we do a diminished chord? We start with a minor, find the 5th, lower it a half step. And so that would be an example of being able to play all your diatonic chords up the neck. That's on the D course. Then the A course would be with this shape, etc. And this would be the E course. It's going to look different too. So pick at least one of those that you can do, and that would be the second part of the midterm test to be able to do that. Okay, that's it for the midterm test. Now the creative assignment for this week is to take your 1-4-5 song that you would have previously written and change one chord to a minor chord as an experiment and see if it gives you an interesting twist on the song, maybe something you would want to use, maybe it makes you think of an idea that would become a different song. So you take each chord in turn and turn it into a minor chord. So if you have 1-4-5 song, you try it with the 1 chord being minor. Then you try it with the 4 chord being minor. And then you try it with the 5 chord being minor. With your existing melody, and maybe a melody won't work anymore and you might have to change it, but it's just a learning experience, so you have to share the results of your experiment on that to get credit for that assignment. And finally, you have to make sure you've done all previous assignments. So the previous assignments are all here on the OL. There's the first one was Jackson Pollock. There's the description of it. This is where you would hand it in. The second one that you will be able to see is the old one too. Here's the description of it, and here's where you would hand it in. It's actually also mentioned here. There's the actual assignment page for the old one too. It's called assignment 2. And here's where you hand it in. Okay, next one that you're going to see on your display is assignment 4, which is the 1-4-5 assignment, and there's the description of it, and here's the helpful videos. Okay, and this is where you would hand it in, and then this we skipped over a lot of that, and then the next thing is your we skipped over that. The next thing is all the stuff on the midterm assignments page. Okay, that's listed here. Alright, so that's what you have to catch up with. Alright, so hopefully this video will be helpful to you. Email me if you have any questions. I'll look forward to seeing you all in class tomorrow. And we'll share some cool music, and hope I'll answer any questions you have if you don't need to ask them before then by email. So do make a special effort to do as well as you can on these midterm test requirements, because everything else for the rest of the semester depends on you having a working knowledge of these 9 shapes and being able to convert them, for example, into minor chords and so on. Okay, I'll look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.